All right, guys. I need to know if Lovely and Corey and Tina are in here right now. Tina is here. Okay, is Corey in here? Okay. I don't think Corey is in here. Oh, hey, okay. So I wanted to give you guys an update right now. I am having issues with streaming directly from YouTube for whatever reason. I don't think that it's YouTube's specific problem. It might just be issues going on with my internet, but I don't know for sure. I tried connecting my phone camera to StreamYard, having issues there. I spent too much time on that already and I didn't want to waste any more time. So, here's what I can offer you guys. I can do your readings without being on camera. It's the same experience, and I tell you what cards I'm pulling. You just can't see the camera. Or we can hold off on the readings that you're donated for, and we can get back to this tomorrow once I can get back on camera. Does anyone have a preference on how I go about this? I'm even happy to take a picture of your reading and post it to the screen. So that way you can follow along with me visually if you want to. So, for example, I can do something like this. I'm just pulling some random cards right now. I can do something like this. This might be the best way to go about it, just so that you can visually see what I'm doing. Let me share this with my computer, image file, downloads. Okay, so something like this, okay, where because I'm not on camera, I will take a picture of your reading and I will share it to the screen. So that way you can follow along with me on what I'm pulling. You won't see my hands on the cards, but it's essentially the same idea. And I will walk through, your reading that way, if that makes sense. Hey, lovely. I was going live directly from YouTube, and I don't know what was going on, but I was just having issues. It kept trying to like boot me off, knock me off. It's been a crazy night. I don't know what's going on. And last night we had thunderstorms, so that knocked our power out, and I lost a little time there. So it's been a night, and I'm just trying to not make people wait too long for, to get their readings from me this evening. Okay, so Corey says that works for him, and Tina says that works for her, and Lovely, you are next. So let me go ahead and post the order, so that way we're not waiting any longer. I don't want to hold you guys up any longer, especially because Corey was like, how many people are ahead of me? Didn't we know that that was going to happen? Yeah, I'm not having issues with StreamYard. Hopefully that will not happen. But I was having issues going live directly from YouTube, unfortunately. All right, let me remove this from the screen really quick. Let me pull for Tina. So Tina had asked, no, I do not need your question again. I thought ahead actually before I signed off and grabbed your question before I left. I wasn't trying to make this too complicated for you guys. I really wanted to make this as easy as possible. And again, I'm really sorry. This is completely out of my control. I don't know what's going on. All right. So, Tina, I'm going to shuffle for you right now. Once I am able to get all your cards pulled for your reading, then I will get the picture up on the screen and you can follow along with me while I do your reading, okay? All right, let me shuffle for you. So you had said, what does the future of this connection look like? And Corey says, what's coming towards me now? Got it, Corey. You got it. And also, Corey, I'm so sorry. I referred to you as a him. That was my bad. I just saw your name and just like went there. So I am sorry about that. All right. I literally just zoomed in on your picture and I was like, yep, nope, I was wrong. Okay, so this is for Tina. What does future of the connection look like? Future of the connection. Future of the connection. Mara, hello. Welcome in. How are you doing tonight? It does. I try my best to not ever assume things like that. But that was my fault. All right. And you sent Tina for a mini for the finishing of this question. Okay. Got it. Luckily, Eliana, what you donated for, you always get a picture of yours. So I don't have to be on camera for that, thank goodness. All right, so those are the cards that I pulled for you, Tina. Okay, lovely. That sounds good. Mara, I'm doing well. Tonight's been a little crazy, but we're getting there. So, Tina, as you can see, reading left to right, starting on the top row, I have the Six of Swords in reverse, the Four of Swords in reverse, Strength in reverse. Upright on the second row, we have Queen of Cups and Seven of Wands. So the future of the connection, if I can be honest, it feels like distance. It feels like isolation. It feels like separation to whatever extent. The Strength card in reverse tells me there's not much courage in this connection to really get things off the ground right now. So, meaning that I don't foresee you taking action. I don't foresee him taking action. Strength in reverse talks about here we lose our nerve, or we are, letting fear get to us, or our reasons, even not even necessarily fear, but we're letting our reasons in our mind why we can't go there get in the way of potentially seeing where this could develop. Because I was seeing in the last reading before that I felt like he felt restricted to approach you or do anything about these feelings of attraction for you. It's kind of just like reaffirming that for me. I feel mentally there's going to be a lot more chaos, a lot more busyness going on in your mind and in his mind in regards to each other. The Four of Swords in reverse is telling me there's you guys, even if you're not doing anything about it, that you're not going to have much peace about this either, because you're not seeing the connection move further in your physical reality. It's going to get to you mentally. So there's not really going to be peace of mind. It's going to be a lot of thoughts swirling around. You're probably going to be feeling like you're overthinking in the connection a lot. The Six of Swords doesn't necessarily mean you're moving on from each other. I'm not necessarily picking up on you guys moving on, but I think you kind of stay in this energy for quite some time, indefinitely, because we're specifically talking about the future of the connection. So unless some decisions are made down the line, and again, I was advised to tell you not to make any hasty decisions, but a month from now, you might feel a little differently. You might feel like you've had more time to think this through, and maybe you make a decision to approach him potentially, and then your outcome changes. But along this current path of restriction for him and non-confrontation from you guys are kind of at a standstill right now, if that makes sense. It feels, yes, stuck. Exactly. It feels very, very stuck. So Tina, the only thing that I can recommend, if you want to move this further, but you don't necessarily want to make a move, is I would try to start sending him signals. I would start making it kind of a little more obvious, like with the Queen of Cups at the bottom left. Like I would start sending him messages. Like I would start trying to maybe connect with him, on a personal level, or potentially, get to know him, or maybe make signs or gestures or signals back to him so he kind of knows that you're interested. If you're interested in that way, maybe it's a very passive way, but you can kind of make your message clear to him, if you're interested. I feel like people, don't use flirting to their advantage as much as they could. So there's definitely things that you can do that kind of hint or gesture to him that there may be interest on your end without necessarily directly communicating this. And it's not, an outright direct decision, like to approach him or confront him, but it might be enough to influence the energy where you could kind of change the dynamic between the two of you, if that is what you're interested in. Because right now, it's like, if you're not going to do anything and he's not going to do anything, I don't really see anything happening for you guys. So that's the only thing that I can recommend or suggest to get unstuck. If you're in a place of like, no, I'm not really ready to approach him just yet, I would just be a little heavier on the flirting. I would, make it a little more clear of your interests. Maybe, if you have ways to get to know him on a personal level, I would kind of put yourself out there a little bit more. Maybe, change things up, maybe change your style, make you a little more noticeable to him, because I think what happens is if you give a little, then he can give a little, and maybe you can kind of start to change the future outcome. I just think right now there's too much in our minds and there's too much holding back that we can't really do anything with this energy. And I don't feel like Spirit's going to just come out and divine intervention the two of you, to be honest. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I do think this is a matter of free will. You said we used to flirt a lot, but I backed off and avoided, but we'll keep it in mind. So Tina, I want to say, do you, girl. I don't want to sit here and tell you what to do in this situation. That's just the only advice that I see coming through, specifically because of the Queen of Cups energy, because you have such a lovely energy. And I feel like that card, you can kind of see her with her hands up, and she's just like sending energy, you know, like she's sending that signal. She's sending that message of like, hey, I'm into you, you know, pick up on this, please. Pick up on this. So yeah, that's what I'm getting for that question. So hopefully that kind of gives you a little bit of like insight and or direction. But if you're ready, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle for your second BOGO question in regards to quote unquote Jill, and see what she's thinking about you, um, or how she feels towards you, or her energy towards you, basically. You should receive it telepathically. Sometimes I think you have to be a little more obvious, but again, that's your choice. Okay. So then we're going to see what this person's energy is towards you. This is so funny. I have never thought to just post the pictures on the screen. I have always just either had a camera or no camera, but this is the best I can do tonight. All right. So next one is a tough one. All right, let's see. Okay. Corey, yes, we are finishing up. So for all of my clients that donate, they can ask up to 3 questions in a row, and we've done 2 of her 3 questions. If she donates again, she'll have to go back into rotation, so that way we can get on to your reading. But that way, you know, Corey, if you want to add on to your reading, you can, with respect to everyone else that's waiting, but also so you don't have to feel like you have to wait a whole turn all over again. So that's why I kind of do that. I do have to put a cap on it just because I don't want to make people wait forever. There have been people in the past that just would add on, and like an hour went by and these people that were waiting were like, what the heck? So I kind of found a way, like a loophole around that. But yeah, we're working on her last question of this turn for her. So Corey, up to 3 questions are paid for. So I don't do up to 3 questions per turn for free. So for instance, Tina did a buy one, get one, which means that she got 2 questions, the BOGO for 17, and then she paid for a mini reading. So it's 3 paid questions per turn. Yeah. Okay. But I mean, hey, you got to shoot that shot. You never know. All right. So this is for Tina. You said this is a tough one. This is a tough one. Okay, let's see. How does this person's energy towards Tina? How is this person's energy? All right, so Tina, for your last question of this turn, in regards to what is her energy towards you, we are looking at Queen of Pentacles, top row, left to right. And then we have Queen of Wands upright. So Queen of Pentacles reverse, Queen of Wands upright. Then I have the Hangman and the King of Pentacles come out together. Second row, we have Eight of Pentacles, the Hermit, Four of Swords. Last row, we have the Moon, Six of Wands, and the Tower. So I'm going to start at the center energy with the Hermit. I feel like this person may see you as someone who's more evolved than them. I'm almost getting like you get what I feel like they want. I feel like this person isn't necessarily like jealous, I want to say, but I feel like the aura that you have, the energy that you give off, it's like they admire that in a coveting way, almost like I wish that that was me. But when I say it's not jealousy, it's because this other person does have the potential to turn things around for themselves. And, you know, maybe they're not going to be exactly like you, and they're not going to address things exactly how you would. But I feel like they have the capacity to evolve, because there's something here with the Hermit indicating that there's, you know how like when people say you're an old soul, or they talk about how you have such character development, or, you know, you've really put the work in to become the good person that you are today. And then there are other people that don't put that work in. They're not willing to look inside themselves, or not willing to reflect. And it's like, you can be where I am. Maybe you can't be me. Maybe you can't have what I have. We are technically two different people. But if you would just put a little more of the effort in to just become a better person, or whatever, fill in the blank, I feel like she could have the capacity to become a better version of herself. But for whatever reason, there's this feeling of like, in the spotlight. Okay. I feel like this Queen of Pentacles in reverse is indicating that maybe she feels that you're getting things that you don't deserve, um, or that you're moving up faster than she is, or maybe she feels that there's certain things that she deserves, or maybe she, depending on how things are, Tina, if you got this job, like, and you work and she's worked there longer, there could also be like a conflict there with that. But in terms of respecting you, I think there's a lack of that. It's not direct jealousy, I just want to be clear, but it's more like an envy of who you are as a person and how you conduct yourself and how you walk around. It's almost like triggering for her, because I think that she has stayed complacent for a very long time, and her soul is like, girl, you need to grow. And she's like, I don't want to. Like, that's kind of what it feels like to me. And sometimes when people are of a higher vibration, it can disturb someone who's of a lower vibration. Literally just breathing could bother. Like, she could even be like a kind of like annoyed sometimes at the things that you do. And it really has nothing to do with you, literally at all. It's just the fact that she is in this place where she's unwilling to make proper changes, if that makes sense. I do see here, with the Eight of Pentacles, that she should care more about what you think. She should care more about how you perceive her, not on a personal level, but on a work level. I feel like she could have a flair for the dramatics. I feel like she could be the type of person who should be earning, almost like I almost feel like she thinks a little high of herself. Like, I feel like she thinks that she deserves more than she does. I feel like she's in a place where she maybe feel like she should earn a promotion, for example, but she hasn't really done the work. Typically, she has a mindset of like she deserves more than what she's getting. And I feel like she should be trying harder to genuinely, authentically look good to you in your eyes on a professional level. And I'm almost feeling like that's not the case with this person. Um, I feel a little bit with the Four of Swords that she could potentially just do the bare minimum when it comes to work. Sometimes this card can indicate calling out a lot. Four of Swords can also indicate health issues, so she could be relying on like an ailment potentially to try to get her out of things. And then I have the Hangman and the King of Pentacles to the top right. I don't want to ignore that. That could indicate that she cares more about maybe what your boss thinks of her than what you think of her. The Hangman kind of indicates I'm bending over backwards to look good to that guy, the boss. The Hangman is like, I'm willing to sacrifice in order for this person to see me in a different light. And so there could be some kind of like not really respecting you, but wanting to make a good impression on the person above you or something. I do think there's a lot going on deep down and some feelings that she's been holding back, but I feel like a lot of it is that maybe she wants the spotlight, she wants the recognition, she wants the appreciation that maybe she hasn't quite deserved, but she feels like she deserves it. And I have the Tower here, which indicates like this girl is going to have a rude awakening. Like if she doesn't make a decision to try to change herself, like divine intervention is going to come in. You know what I mean? True. I won't let her do the bare minimum. She cares about the boss, but I'm the one who says whether she or pass or fail for her license. Okay. So yes, I'm glad that that was confirmed because I feel like I said, she almost just wants to go above your. Okay. So that's the girl. Okay. Let me explain. So that number one makes so much sense is that she's not really worried about impressing you. She's worried about impressing the boss. That makes sense. She wants to do the bare minimum. She wants to get more than she deserves. I love how all that resonated. But what I will say is, in light of this new information, that her physical looks will get her far. That is hilarious because if you look at the Queen of Wands, and that's why I said, first of all, let me backtrack. That's why I said I don't think it's jealousy, okay? Because she really thinks she's all that in a bag of chips. Old expression, but that's just my millennial in me. But she really feels like she's like all that. So she would literally, like, if someone had said to her, "Are you jealous of Tina?" She would laugh, like smirk, and be like, "You've got to be kidding me. I am not jealous of her." But like I said, it's not a jealousy because she thinks very highly of herself. But it's a like you trigger her, like you get to her, you disturb her spirit because you are wise and you are evolved and you are a good person, and she's refusing to become better. Okay, she's refusing to become a better version of herself. Now back to the physical looks thing, I don't know why I didn't see this. I should have seen this. The Queen of, if this, you look at the center row as the vertical, at the top there's a Queen of Wands and at the bottom there's a Six of Wands. That specific energy is, I turn heads. I'm physically attractive, therefore I've always gotten by on my looks. People celebrate me publicly, people celebrate me privately. I've always gotten by on being the one that looks good, or maybe even the center of attention. The thing is, Tina, is that that's another reason why you might disturb her, because you might get the respect from other people. You might get the attention and you might get the rewards and you might get the things that you deserve because you're a good person. Whereas for her, that bothers her. Okay, because no matter what, I think this person might want to be the center of attention no matter what. And so when she sees that you're achieving things, or she feels like you're holding her back, that is something that bothers her. But that's very interesting. I didn't think to talk about physical looks. But because you said that, I am seeing that in the reading right now. But yeah, Tina, that's what I have. I don't really know like how to help address how to like handle this person moving forward. I feel like that's very complicated. I don't foresee her being in a position where she is going to want to be better or she is going to want to change. It just kind of sounds like you're dealing with a very difficult person right now. And you might just have to kind of lay down the law with her, and either she measures up to what you're expecting of her or she's got to go, you know? Because I don't think there's really anything you can change in a work dynamic. This is nothing personal. This is professional, you know? So you can only allow her to kind of push the limits, but so far she has to be willing to rise up and do more. Because like you said, you can't let her do the bare minimum. You are the one that says if she passes or fails, you know? All right, Corey, I'm so sorry for the wait. I promise you this is not how this normally goes. Normally very quick with readings, but when I'm having technical difficulties, I'm struggling. I'm glad Divine will intervene. Sad she won't want to change. She's supposed to be licensing to be a psychologist. That's scary. That's scary, Tina. Gotta be honest. She's got some work to do, my friend. You're very welcome. I think just stay the course. You know, you gotta be rigid. You can't do these things lightly. You can't make these decisions lightly. All right, girl. I hope you have a good rest of your night. Thank you so much for stopping in. This is going to be for Corey. Corey donated for a mini reading and asks, what is coming towards you now? Hey, love. I'm so sorry. Time is getting away from me. I'm still working. We've had some really bad technical difficulties tonight. It's been literally insane. That's part of the reason why. I've been working for 3 hours, and I feel like I'm getting like 1 or 2 readings done an hour. But anyways, yeah, it's insane. So I'm gonna wrap this up here in a minute. I'm working on my last 2 that I have so far, but I'll probably just talk to you when you get home. Okay, bye, hon. What is coming towards Corey? What is coming towards Corey? What is coming towards Corey? Okay. Let me snap a picture of this real quick. All right, Corey, we are on you. Again, thank you so much for your patience. I swear it's not normally like this. I don't know what has been going on. So we're going to read this left to right. Top row, we have the High Priestess, the Six of Swords, and the Eight of Pentacles. Bottom row, left to right, we have the Moon in reverse, and then the Hierophant and the Ace of Pentacles came out together. So the main theme word that I heard was improvement. So, Corey, there is a lot of work going on underneath the surface. I don't know, girl, if you're in therapy. I don't know if you're doing shadow work, if you're going deep dives on TikToks to learn how to do like deep dive, soul searching, reflection, whatever. But I feel like there's like this deep like awakening that's coming for you. I do believe we're the type of people that have like many awakenings, but this one feels like on a whole nother level that unlocks so much. You might already feel like you are a very like sensitive, like intuitive type of person as well. But if you resonate with having abilities, okay, beyond what we can explain, like you know things that you're not really supposed to know, or if you have like precognitive dreams, or if you just get feelings about things and you're just right about them. I really feel like you're coming into this, and I don't like to call it a gift, but it kind of is, especially if you can be more naturally tapped in. It's like I feel like you're coming into your gifts or your abilities. I feel like it's becoming stronger for you. This whole thing talks about improvement from the inside out, like a cell rejuvenation. Like we are working on our brain chemistry, we are working on our physical appearance, we are working on our health, like almost like a whole entire revamping. Okay. So, like when people buy a house and they remodel and they're saying like we're under remodel, reconstructing, etc. That's what almost I feel like to work down studs and then rebuilding from there. This feels very, very, very big. And what I think is going to happen along the way for you, Corey, is that you are going to grow closer to certain people. I feel like certain people are going to become a part of your community. I feel like you're going to have offers from people that are going to want to be around you more, spend time with you. The Hierophant talks about the ways in which we identify. So finding people that are really on that same level as you, either getting closer to the people that are currently in your life right now that you feel are willing to make those changes with you and be alongside you while they go through their own journey, and or just new people in general. I feel like you're really finding it's like I keep hearing spirit say finding your tribe. I'm not crazy about that expression. I feel like it's overused, but in a sense that's kind of what I'm getting, is that you are building a community for yourself. It's not necessarily like a bunch of people. It might just be a couple close people, maybe some people you meet along the way that you find are like soul tied to you. And then this also might talk about, the process of doing this. That way you can build your own family. The Hierophant talks about traditions. It talks about the way we are raised, our culture, what's important to us, our morals, values, belief systems, really wanting to make sure that you're in a certain headspace. That way, if you are wanting to either build a family, build a life with someone, or if you currently are already doing that, you can have a more enlightened path forward. This really just feels a lot like releasing the Six of Swords, the top middle card that talks about a regretful but necessary rite of passage, meaning that you're probably going through some canon events, you're probably experiencing some synchronicities. The Six of Swords talks about how we might know something isn't good for us, and it's been really hard to like let that go, but we're finally in a place where we are saying, you know what, this sucks, but I also know this isn't good for me. And so I'm just going to move along. And the reward for that is easier times ahead, you know? And that can be multiple things. That can be, maybe negative thought patterns. You're like, this has been my coping mechanism all along, but I'm not in survival mode anymore. I really need to make sure I'm not having these negative thought patterns anymore. And I need to like find a way to rewire my brain chemistry and say, hey, like, let's start thinking less negatively and more in an abundant mindset, a more limitless mindset. This could be talking about habits. You know, if you have a bad habit, if you like are maybe really addicted to soda, for example, but you know it's not good for you. It's regretful. You really don't want to have to do it, but you also know that's going to help your health, you know, in that way. And then people, even, you know, like I feel like a lot of times people have such loyalty to people, especially if they've known them their whole life. But if these people aren't helping you, if they're not going to be along the ride with you to get you to your destination, sorry, unfortunately, you're going to have to let them go. You can say they served their purpose, but I've got to move along. So, you know, Corey, I really feel like you're kind of already starting this now, but I feel like this is like the ultimate transformation that's going on within you. And it doesn't necessarily mean your physical appearance is going to change. It could mean that maybe you find a different style, maybe you find a different aesthetic, or maybe you like what you currently have going, but you want to add some things into the mix. Like, this is about becoming you. This is about becoming ultimately who you want to be, and knowing that no matter what has happened in your life up until this point, that you can still do that. We can make a choice every single day to be something better. And I just feel like this is really big for you. And I've got to say, I don't typically do general readings where I feel this kind of transformation on this level. It's very rare, but for whatever reason, I'm picking that up for you. And it's beautiful. It really is. So, if there's anything I said that you weren't sure about or you need me to clarify, let me know. And then if you have any additional questions you would like to donate for, you're more than welcome to. But if that concludes your readings for the night, I really appreciate you. And again, thank you for your patience. This has been crazy. This has been really crazy tonight. You're very welcome, Corey. I really hope we see you back again. If you are not subscribed, make sure you subscribe, because I offer free readings every time I go live, pretty much. So at the beginning of the live streams, like the first 15 minutes, unless it's otherwise specified, I will do free yes, no questions, you know, one per person. So if you want to get on some free readings too, you can do that. And then also I'm over on TikTok. I go live over there as well. So hopefully we see you back here again. And I hope you have a good rest of your night. We are going to move on to Lovely. So, Lovely, if you're here, if you want to check in with me. Hey, girl. Okay. Whew. You might be my last reading of the night. I don't feel like I got a lot of donations this evening, but what I will say is I feel like I've been live for all day long. Like, it's been crazy. By the time I finish up here, it'll be almost 4 hours because of all the issues I was having. It's been nuts. But I hung in there, and I'm happy about that. One, two, three, four, five, six. Six donations, including yours. So I'm like, why did this take me almost 4 hours? God, okay, so tell me while I'm getting your cards prepped, tell me what happened Sunday. Like, what you were streaming through StreamYard and you got booted out? Yeah, and that's the thing that's frustrating too, because last night the storm? Yeah, last night was the storm, and then today with the technical issues, it's like I could tell people were wanting readings from me, and I was like, heck yeah, like this has been awesome. And by the way, despite the last 2 nights, I have enjoyed going live directly from YouTube. It is a little bit difficult because I'm trying to keep up with the comments and I don't have StreamYard to like save their questions, you know? But I have noticed new people coming in, like you said. It's not a high volume of new people, but it is new people. And so that's been nice. So I do appreciate that little tip outside of last night and tonight, which I don't even know if it's YouTube's fault. Really, this could have just been a fluke. That has been a pretty cool experience. And on the nights that I'm going live on my phone on camera over on TikTok, it's like I might as well do the same on YouTube. So having that option and you reminding me of that, I just want to thank you. You had to keep logging in, so you just got off and went live straight from YouTube. Oh my God, that's so annoying. And it seems like you have a lot of issues with StreamYard. I have not. StreamYard has actually always been a very smooth experience for me, but I'm really upset for you that you have not had that same experience. He says, yeah, same. It's not a bunch of new people, but definitely some new faces. Yes, that's exactly right. And, you know, some new faces that are wanting free readings and getting to know me and my channel. And then some people that are new that just are like, hey, can I donate? And I'm like, yeah, girl, do it. Like Corey tonight, I think she's new to my channel, I want to say. And if she's not new to my channel, it might have been a while since I've seen her. I also like the convenience of the mute button through StreamYard, to be honest, because you know, you use your phone as a camera, and if that's your only access, you have to click the mute button like on the phone itself, and that's so inconvenient for me because my phone isn't a phone holder, so it makes it complicated. It's like little things like that that make your life easier. That, you know, StreamYard is convenient for, but at the same time, the variety, I need that in my life. I need the variety. The ability to like do something a little different each day. And that has helped with that a lot. It is a task to start a live. Why is that? Oh, it's your first time in 2 years. Yeah, you probably should figure out. Yeah, I would talk to them. I try to figure out what the heck is going on. Because StreamYard, I created a hotkey, like a shortcut, where if I hit the letter A, it mutes my button for me. So I don't even have to move my mouse. I literally just hit the letter A, and it will mute for me. And that's so convenient. Whereas if someone donates, like tonight, someone donated and it wasn't coming through in my email notifications because for whatever reason I was having internet issues as well. So then I had to take my phone out of the holder, the little stand, and like go into PayPal and try to find their question and, you know, did you donate? Did you not donate? Where did it come from? Like it just is so complicated to not have your phone like in your hand. So that's been interesting, but it's still good. It's still good. I'm still happy I'm doing it. It does make it a little complicated, but it's okay. All right. Pulling cards for you for your channeling. I'm glad you feel my pain because I'm like, what the heck? All right, we got the Page of Pentacles. Ooh. Oh, I like this. Four of Cups and Two of Swords in reverse. To me, that feels positive. We also have the Wheel. Already tapping in here. It's a good option to have during the day. You get random people asking what tarot is. Oh, I like that. Heavy on the guys. I have noticed a lot more men coming into my live streams than they used to be. Even over on TikTok, I used to was like predominantly women. It still is, but I feel like more men are getting into it, which is cool. Oh gosh. Okay. So we have Page of Cups and the Devil as well. Suddenly I'm struggling to talk. You like the balance of men? Yeah, me too. Me too. I just like seeing it because it makes me feel too that we're like our consciousness, our collective consciousness is elevating because, you know, if you're a guy, not, I'll say if you're a straight man, that might be a little bit more generalized. I feel like if you're a straight man and you're in the spiritual business, you're more into astrology. I see a lot of numerology men around. You know, and that's because they can make logic out of it. It's less astrology and numerology are somewhat in line with interpretation, but it's not so much interpretation of like tarot. Tarot requires a lot of tapping into your feelings, tapping into your what you're hearing, what you're seeing, what you're you know, tasting, you know, like what are the things, you know? Whereas numerology is like a set system, or like astrology is a set system. And then a lot of men that are into like healing modalities, you know, like Reiki and even sound healing, some type of like physical modality as well. I find something that is like either hands-on or has a more rigid system. Um, so, with that being said, a lot of men either don't believe in this stuff or they just think they take it with a grain of salt, or if they're into it, it's not necessarily tarot. So, I love seeing the incorporation of men in, you know, wanting to know more about tarot, because that makes me feel like we're evolving. We're evolving as a collective. That's really cool to see for sure. And also the guys giving validity, being like, you know what, you're powerful. Like the fact that, you know, you can tap into, especially if a guy is going to a girl for a reading, that's very validating for me as far as the evolution of the collective consciousness, because they're saying I value you, you have validity in what you're saying. I trust in your magic, I trust in your power, I trust in your ability to feel and see and hear things that might not come so easily to someone else. And that's really validating, you know? That's special. Um so yeah, okay. I'm about halfway done with your reading right now. We're just gonna keep going here. I'm breathing in and out a lot. I feel like he is trying to breathe. Like he's trying to breathe through this. He might even be doing like some kind of breath work. Yeah, they're not as addicted to getting readings, exactly. But I think that's more of validity than anything, because if they see validity in it, I think they could become just as hooked on it. It's more like, I don't know if I really believe it, so I'm not going to do it. Take it with a grain of salt, exactly. But the curiosity is pleasant. I like that. I feel kind of flattered when someone doesn't genuinely just shoot you down like immediately. That's always nice. The interest, the curiosity, I appreciate that. And the non-judgment. Jaria, hello and welcome in. Thank you for the sub. We are not doing free questions right now. We are just working on donations at this time. If you're interested in that, let me know. But if you're here for a free reading, definitely check back another time when I'm live, okay? Make sure you get in on my live streams early. The first 15 minutes, I offer free readings. They're more scared of it. You know what? That's so true. They are more scared of it. Because if you, your friends have said that about your boyfriends. Yeah, that's totally. I can see that. It's if you don't understand it, it can freak you out. And I get that. I mean, even myself, believe it or not, I was like, I don't know if tarot is for me. Like I felt like high vibration light and love from oracle cards, but tarot always felt so potentially dark. It's more of like the neutral realm, but it's not like a Ouija board, but it's like a little, and I had to like rewire what I thought of tarot actually. Um because I was raised Catholic and it was like you don't go near that stuff. And I had to kind of see for myself what it was all about, and I realized it's a tool. It's not There's nothing scary or dark about it. It's literally a tool. And I have not grown this much in this short amount of time than I have since I started doing readings. Yeah. Exactly, like, it's not as dark. It's like that they make that's the thing, is they want you to fear it, but once I realized it's literally a tool, it's like you can literally pull a card and do a journal prompt, and the healing that comes from it, I mean, dang, I've been doing this since 2019, and I feel like I legit am a whole new person. And so I just think that just don't be scared of it. But that might be also why they shoot it down, because if they don't see the validity in it or they're scared of it, then they're going to be like, it's not for me. Oh, you do that? Oh, you're one of those girls? Like, I've had that reaction. But what's funny is the wives. Like, if people are like, what do you do for a living? And I'm like, I'm a tarot reader. The guys, a lot of the times, because I'm in the South, not in like the South, but I'm in the Southern state. These guys, these macho men will just be like, "Oh, okay." And the wives will be like, "Oh my god, that's so cool. Tell me more. How did you get into it? When did you start?" Like, the wives eat it up. They love it. It's the guys. But in my opinion, I think that's their ego. I really think that's their ego. They're the people who think that what you do for a living is all that matters. That status is all that matters. I don't think that should be when you meet someone, you should never ask them what they do for a living. I think that's not important. I think a lot of people hate their job, and why would you ask them about the part of their life that they probably don't even want to think about in that moment? Ask them what makes you happy, what lights you up, what makes you excited about life. If you could do anything and money wasn't an object, what would that be? Do you have family? Do you have close friends? Like, tell me about who you are, what your passion is. Like, those are things that people should ask. It should not be about what you do for a living. That's the least interesting thing about me, is what I do for a living. Ask me literally anything else, you know? So many people worry. Yeah, they worry about status. Because it's a dick measuring contest, if I can say that. Like, it's all about, oh, well, it's a measurement thing. It's like, well, what do you do for a living? Oh, well, I do this for a living. It's all about, like, who has the better career, who has the better job, the better money. And somehow that's like the upper class bullshit. And somehow that trickled into our communities, which that's not even important. Like, if you're gonna ask what someone does for a living, at least ask if they like what they do first. Do you like what you do? Do you like your job? Do you like the career, the field that you're in? No, not really. Oh, okay, moving along. Like, at least ask them if they like what they do. This person's probably like, "I don't wanna think about work right now. Don't ask me that question." I know, right? Ooh. I just got a message from him that's very enlightening, actually. I'm excited to share it with you. Um, you said it's funny because I asked Mike if he liked what he did for a living, but only because he brought it up. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I wonder if he's still doing the same thing. Okay, almost done. I'm like working on like the last sentence or two, probably. He's been there for a while, so most likely, you never asked about people's jobs. Will say most guys have told me themselves. Some you can tell just to show status. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I wish I was raised in the mentality of like it's not polite to talk about money. It's not, you don't talk about money. You don't talk about your careers. If your money is good, keep it to yourself. If it's not, keep it to yourself. I mean, in certain circumstances, I understand how if like you're not doing great financially or you have a lot of expenses out of the norm or something like that, you might have to tell someone like, "Hey, that's just not a good month for us. We just have a lot of unexpected things that we have to allocate our funds to. But, let's check back in a couple months or whatever." That's one thing. But I wish I was raised in the mentality of like you don't talk about money. Because I feel like my parents learned that, but they learned it too late. And then unfortunately, now I'm in a place where I'm having to learn it all on my own is that you have to just keep that to yourself. If you're doing good or you're doing not good, don't share that information. And I don't think it's a good thing. And I mean, if these guys are like just volunteering this information to you because they want to show status, it's very clear that that is how they value themselves. And I would never want to value myself based on how much money I make, whether it's a lot or not a lot. That fluctuates way too much. And these people who are boasting about the job that they have, they could lose that in an instant. And then what do you have? What are you left with? That's what you base your value on, you know? Yeah, totally. Oh, he's got more to say. Hold on. Um, Hi, baby. All right, I think this might be, I don't know if this is longer than usual, but whatever. I feel like if I'm getting information, I don't want it to, I don't want to like stop the message until it feels good to stop. Um, I think these messages you're going to be getting moving forward, maybe, at least the next couple ones are going to be more of those like longer form messages because I feel like there's a lot going on in his psyche that I feel like he wants to talk about. He's a little more chatty. So, and I don't know how long that's going to last, but that's what it's feeling like to me. Let me tell you, most of these guys will say women only want them for status, but will share it on the first conversation. I know, isn't that crazy? Um, hun, we were talking about like why do people ask other people what they do for a living when they first meet them? How weird that is. Because it's like that's number one, probably the least interesting thing about them.
Right.
And number two, how many people hate their jobs, why would they want to talk about it?
Right.
It's like, unless they volunteer that information. And if we were talking about, it's because a lot of people put value on what you do for a living. Yeah. Crazy. And she's like, I don't even ask them. Sometimes they just volunteer the information. Like, I care. Oh my God. That's so funny. Yeah, it might be about the same length as the other ones have been, but I don't know. It felt longer to me for some reason. Okay. So he says, and I just sent it to you. He says, I've been thinking a lot about the way that you held space for me. You were grounded and really listened to me with care, compassion, and nurturing. Almost like he's saying, like, you didn't judge me. I feel like I hear him saying that now, and I should have included that. He's like, you didn't judge me ever. He said you were just so real, like real and down to earth. He says, I admire your strength, how it seems everything you do, touch, and make grow around you. So that's him saying, like, you're so abundant, you're like, everything you touch turns to gold, kind of like he feels like you leave things so much better than how you find it. And he says, this is the part that really was like eye-opening for me. He says, you give without losing yourself in the process. And his realization to that is, I need to figure out how to do that myself. It seems I either give all of myself or I give nothing. And I need to find a way to balance this. You are so rare too. I know I will never find anyone like you. Right now, I feel suspended, like I'm being asked to see everything from a different perspective. This silence has been a kind of pause from the universe, forcing me to stop running and just feel. So that is the message. And why I found that one line very enlightening is just because I do think that he does that. I think that he gives either his all in relationships and he lets himself get walked all over, or he goes into protection mode and he says, well, I'm giving you absolutely nothing at all. And I think that might be misdirected. And that was misdirected, with when it came to you specifically. He said, oh, I feel myself giving into this, I'm going to pull back. And that was more like a protection for him. And I don't really think he knows how to be any other way but either all or nothing, it seems. And maybe he got a little spooked or something along those lines, but I do feel like he is recognizing that about himself and maybe trying to be like, you know what, she gives of herself and nothing happens. Like, she's able to give, but also she's able to still be herself, you don't like he's like, she doesn't lose herself in the process of being able to give. And he feels that protection around you, that protection that you give to yourself, where you're like, you know what, like, if I have it, I'm gonna give it, and if I don't have it, I'm not. But I know what I can and cannot handle. And I don't think he has that compass. I don't think he has that navigation system to know when is too much for him, or when it's not enough. It's either like all or nothing for him. So you said that's so crazy because he actually told me that he has lost himself in relationships. Yes, 100%. And that's why when I was channeling, I was like, holy crap, like this is definitely a message that she needs to hear. That has come into his awareness about your connection, is that and like I said, he's never been intimidated by you. He's been inspired by you. So he saw the way that you gave to him. He saw that you gave him your time, conversations on the phone, non-judgment, safe space. And you were able to deliver that with such raw, real compassion and understanding. And he's like, I didn't know you could do that. He's like, I didn't know that you could just be there for someone and like let it just lie there like that. Like, he's just like, I always thought you had to like either give it all or you had to protect yourself. I didn't know there was an in between. And I think that's something that he thinks about a lot when he thinks back on your connection. Yeah, totally. Well, girl, that is what I got for you, friend. You're such a calm and peaceful person. Yes, you are. You are, for sure. That's what my husband says he loves about me the most. I don't know if he would say calm. Brennan, would you call me a calm person? I don't think you can hear me. You're welcome. He calls me very caring and nurturing and warm. I don't know if he'd call me calm. He'd call me chaotic. No, I'm just kidding. You're welcome, lovely. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. And I will see you next time. I'm going to go ahead and sign off myself. See you later.